Hey, Marc, Millan here. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day. Today, I want to talk about leading different personalities. Now, I'm using the word different because it's a positive way to look at why people may not be the same and kind of sometimes don't interact with each other as pleasantly as we would hope as leaders. What I know is that great teams are made up of great individuals, and great people have different personalities. They have different and unique experiences, different walks of life. They have a different belief system, different gifts and talents that they can use to contribute towards the goals. But at the same time, they approach work differently. They interact with people socially in different ways. And so all of these little things that you can't see on the surface of a person sometimes gets pushed up when people are forced to solve problems together. Sometimes you might be wondering, why isn't this working? And so hopefully today's little thought on leading different personalities can help you, give you some tools on how to get things unstuck and moving again. Here's a story. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal were part of a losing team in the Los Angeles Lakers before the arrival of Phil Jackson. And Phil Jackson had spent 8 years with the Chicago Bulls, led them to 6 championships during that time. And then he came to the Los Angeles Lakers. And Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, who never really got along in that season, somehow, some way became teammates. Now, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but what I can tell you is that Phil Jackson found a way immediately to take their talent and get their personalities to start working together towards a common goal. And of course, the Los Angeles Lakers went on to win championships together, as well as Kobe and Shaq went on to win championships together. Now, just a simple analogy, but you can have great talent, you could have great payroll, you could have all the things you need, but it still boils down to how people work together. So this is not about trying to control anybody. This is simply about giving you some tools on how you can use what you have on your team. So here are 3 tips to leading different personalities. Number 1, people see things as they are, not as they exist to be. So I see things according to the way I am, not according to the way things really are. That means that I have a certain invisible blindfold, in a sense, that ties to my belief systems. It ties to my past experiences, my fears, my insecurities. It ties to my faith. All these things make up how I see the world. And so when you're working with different personalities, you need to understand that people will see things the way that they are, not the way they exist to be. So here's a couple of things you can try. Meet them at their world view. And one of the ways to do that is just to ask them why they think something is important. Why does this matter to you? Why do you value this? And as you dig deeper, you'll learn the convictions of their heart and start to understand these are the things that motivates the person to feel so strongly. Another thing you can do is to help them to understand that not everyone shares the same worldview. Believe it or not, most people think that the way that they think should be adhered to by everyone around them. And so it takes some mentorship and leadership to broaden a person's perspective to say, wow, I see why that's so important to you. Well, this other person over here sees this is important to them. Can you understand that? And you start to broaden their perspective. So that's number 1, people see things as they are. Number 2, I would encourage you to use a profile tool like DISC, D-I-S-C. Now, it's been around for well over 50 years. The DISC profile tool is used to help pretty much categorize. I know we don't like doing this, but it pretty much has 4 categories for which most people will fall into in terms of how they interact with tasks and how they interact with people. So the D and the I, for example, they're both task-oriented, but the D is more direct and decisive. The I is more interactive and social, and so they approach tasks and people differently. The S and the C, for example, they're just different on how they handle tasks and people. So some tool like this is extremely helpful because it can help you know what you have and what that person's angle or their worldview is. And then you can start coaching them from that place. Another tool that I think could be helpful is Keirsey and Myers-Briggs. I've used all three. I personally think that the DISC tool is the easiest one to use. It's the easiest one to understand and to kind of get your team to see where they are. It'd be interesting for your team to go through something like that, because then they would start to understand that's why they respond like that, or that's why this person, does this or that. It's very, very kind of awakening when you use a tool like that. Okay, number 3, master the art of mentorship. Individuals are just that. They're individuals. They have a unique experience in life. They have a unique story. They have a unique set of gifts. And so you have to learn how to support where they are, who they are, and start to guide them, mentor them towards their true potential and greatness. And the other part of this, the art of mentorship, I would say, is being a friend who cares is better than being a boss who demands. And I often think of John Wooden, the college basketball coach. John Wooden was the most successful basketball coach of all time. But when his team members talk about him as a coach, they talk about him almost as a father, someone who cared for them. He made them great, he helped them succeed, but he helped them grow as people. And the art of mentorship is really about helping a person grow, not just to get something done, but to help the person grow. And John Wooden was both respected and loved. And as a leader, I aspire to be that, respected and loved by caring for the people that I get to lead. And I'm sure that's one of your desires as well. So leading different personalities, people see things as they are, use a profile tool like DISC, and master the art of mentorship. I think these are 3 things you can do to help different personalities on your team. That's all I have for you today. From my heart to yours.